It's your boy Spider Pig. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to go nuts. Anyways, let's see. We got Super Saturday. You know this is what we do. We wake up early, put the young Venom Thermel on. Shouts out to the Venom Thermel. Y'all know that's my Super Saturday dress code. Has been and will be till somebody steals my freaking thermal. Shouts out to the people that steal your clothes because it happens. I got stuff that's missing right now that I can't find. I don't know what happened. I ain't seen it since she left. Well, damn. Yeah, I just said that happens way too much. That's why I had to cut them off. Said, I noticed a 30% drop in my clothes since you've been gone, and I remember packing your shit myself. So what happened? She had been just placing it off in the side, and then next thing you know, my shit gone. Hoodies and all types of shit. But we ain't gonna cry about it. We'll just do something else. Okay, see, it was a free. This damn thing already giving me problems. That's just the phone, not even the computer. Usually it's the computer, not the phone. Today it's the phone. Got me some more genetics. Shouts out to that. Let's see how we look. Get it in a little bit tight. There we go. Once again, for you people who like to watch shorts and complain about it, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm just talking about them in case they ever do watch a video. Yes, I steal content. Hell, it's my job to review content. Therefore, I do it. Oh, that's such and such's video. Like he didn't just clip such and such's video and sat there and talked about it just like me.
While the horror genre has produced dozens of iconic characters, from killer dolls to killer clowns to ghosts to aliens, there are three characters who truly stand above the rest as the biggest, scariest, and possibly most iconic horror killers of all time. The Big Three of Horror. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, Michael Myers from Halloween, and Freddy Krueger from The Nightmare on Elm Street. These three have been on their own respective slashing sprees for decades now, which has led to them having massive sprawling lores that have caused them to appear in all kinds of unexpected places. So the question arises, are these three serial killers actually powerful, or are they only scary and successful because most of the time they're only going after normal people? Well, today we're going to put them up against the ultimate challenge, having them take on someone who can not only fight back, but someone who is one of the greatest and most powerful fighters in fiction. Can the Big Three of Horror successfully kill Goku? Or in other words,
What up, what
can
up, what
Goku
up?
defeat the Big Three of Horror?
Red
Let's find
meat,
out.
one
If you like this kind of
false
stuff,
C.
make sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. So for this video, we're going to be first scaling each of the members of the Big Three individually against Goku, while only using content found in their main source material, being their mainline live-action films, as all three have been rebooted, remade, or had a timeline split at some point in their franchise. However, in round 2, I will be bringing in all extra source material and extended canon for scaling the Big Three, including novels, comics, video games, and any crossover appearances they might have had. With all that being said, let's begin with the weakest member of the horror Big Three, Michael Myers. Of the three franchises, the Halloween movies, for the most part, attempt to stay the most grounded, which in turn has led it to having the least impressive feats. Regardless of which of the 4 major timelines you choose from, Michael Myers' scaling remains immensely consistent at wall level in both attack potency and durability. For durability, he has survived small gas explosions, being shot multiple times directly, being injected with corrosive acid, and being hit dead on by cars. And for attack potency, he has dozens of feats of easily tearing through people's bodies with his basic strength, smashing through walls and doors, and casually crushing skulls. His speed is a bit inconsistent, as sometimes he's able to avoid gunfire, but other times he easily gets shot. Myers tends to combine his speed with his stealth to the point where he almost seems to teleport, but he can't actually do this, getting the drop on people he's hunting down. He's also incredibly hardy, having a vague degree of immortality and regeneration, as he's taken fatal attacks and direct injuries, only to show they no longer exist or affect him later on. But let's be real, none of this is enough to even press Chapter 1 Kid Goku, and would probably make Myers a good match for someone like Mr. Satan at best. Even from the very first chapter, with a power level of 10, Goku was shattering apart logs, rocks, getting hit by cars, and having bullets bounce off his skin, essentially doing more impressive versions of what Michael Myers was merely surviving, rather than just pretty casually doing. So let's move on to the next 2 killers. Now, funnily enough, the scaling for Jason and Freddy...
Well, it's a good thing we are over Halloween. Now I give Michael a little bit more credit because, I give him the teleportation because that actually makes more sense. I mean, how you gonna catch up to somebody running full speed and you just walking? Oh, that don't make no fucking sense. So not the actual teleportation, but the gap closing teleportation is what I would say. It's every time you look back, he's actually closer because you gave him the power to get up on you type vibe. Yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's what we do.
are actually exactly the same, at least physically, as they have literally fought each other in the movie Freddy
Still got
vs.
the
Jason,
makeup
but
on.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Jason is the
Sheesh,
undead
you
killer
slept with
from the
makeup
Friday
on?
the 13th franchise, and for the most part, it's just a more impressive version of Michael Myers. Pretty much everything Michael has done, Jason has done at some point even better and with more ease. Regardless of your opinion on Death Battle, their analysis of Jason versus Michael did reach the right conclusion. So again, before using extended media, Jason would also just be in those wall and small building levels of power, but just to a higher degree than Michael. Things get really weird though once you go through Freddy Krueger. Now, unlike the other two, in most of his appearances, Freddy exists entirely within the dream world and kills people while they're asleep. In the dream world, he can do essentially whatever he wants, usually only losing to inconsistent methods not directly related to the dream world itself. As a baseline, though, his most impressive thing we see him do is that in the dream world, he's able to throw this house into outer space at high speed. Now, there are two ways to interpret this feat. Either this feat is him just throwing this house this far, which at the speed he moves is a mountain level feat, but the much higher end interpretation is that the planet Earth we see is also created within the dream, which would obviously be a bare minimum planet level feat, at least within the dream world. It's likely, however, that Freddy's dream power doesn't scale to his physical stats, as again, in Freddy vs. Jason, when Freddy manifests in the real world, he only somewhat scales to Jason physically, and ultimately is physically weaker, or it's a mountain to planetary level for Jason's physical stats. So, how far does this go against Goku? Realistically, again, against Jason, even most versions of Kid Goku would be super overkill. At worst, Goku after Roshi's training would be enough to destroy the zombie in a strict normal fight setting. Freddy is a bit stranger. After all, he would likely only fight Goku in the dream world, so would he be able to kill Goku in the dream? Probably not. Despite having essentially unlimited hacks abilities while in the dream world, that doesn't make him omnipotent, when again, the best thing we've seen him do is potentially make a planet. Meanwhile, Goku might have displayed better mental and spiritual strength feats than Freddy has. As a baseline, just strengthening one's ki requires one to strengthen one's mind, meaning sleeping Goku's consciousness is quite literally stronger than a normal person's. We've also seen from techniques like image training that Goku and other fighters in Dragon Ball can simulate entire battles with powerful opponents. Krillin and Gohan fighting each other in an entire mental battle while on the way to Namek, and Frieza in Dragon Ball Super could grow stronger simply by simulating battles with Goku in his Goku's mind. Even when asleep, Goku's mind is still active and conscious, as he was able to sense and follow the events of the Cell Saga while still asleep and dying of the heart virus. In other words, Goku's mind alone is probably a universe buster. So if Freddy were to attack Goku in the dream world, Goku would be just as strong asleep as he is awake. So at worst, Goku would just mentally overpower Freddy by like the beginning of Dragon Ball Z at the latest. But I think all of this was not surprising. Of course, these guys from these live action horror movies weren't going to be able to beat up an anime character who can blow up planets. So let's get into the real match. Goku versus the composite Big Three of horror. Once again, with extended material, Michael Myers is overall the least impressive. He's had fewer crossovers and doesn't have quite as many impressive feats in his non-movie material. Ignoring the crossovers, his best feat is that he survives a small building-level explosion in the comics and kills a woman so fast it would have been impossible for a slow-motion camera to capture his speed, which makes him Mach 33 in speed. Both of these things would make him much faster and stronger, but still a 21st Budokai Goku victim regardless. When it comes to crossovers, the best Michael Myers has is that he is playable in the Dead by Daylight franchise as the Shape. Now, I recently talked about Dead by Daylight scaling in this Broly vs. Springtrap video, but honestly, this scaling is pretty shaky and almost entirely dependent on the idea that Castlevania Dracula literally upscales every other killer to multiversal, when it's far more likely every killer gets nerfed by the entity by different amounts to make the matches fair, or the Dead by Daylight devs simply didn't know that Dracula was that strong. But if you want to use Dead by Daylight scaling for maximum wank, then yes, both Michael Myers and also Freddy Krueger for that matter would be 5-dimensional in power. Aside from this though, Michael I guess is in Fortnite, but like, so is Goku, so let's just move on to the far more impressive killers. Now, beginning in extra material, Jason's scaling skyrockets. Firstly, we need to talk about the Jason X book series, 4 novels that take the movie Jason X and expand upon the material, ultimately making Uber Jason far stronger. Now, while Uber Jason is stronger than normal Jason, we do actually see them fight, and it's not completely one-sided. Still, in the novels, Jason X gets numerous upgrades, able to casually shake an entire space station, and even tanks a city-busting explosion, and only gets more powerful from there. This by itself is an impressive jump, but again, not nearly enough for even 22nd Budokai Goku, who could easily blow away mountains at worst. It's within crossovers, however, where Jason thrives. While I could say that Jason appeared in Multiversus, and therefore he scales to the likes of Superman and Bugs Bunny, I don't think a game you can't even play anymore is a very valid place for scaling. Instead, let's look to the other major crossover-heavy fighting game that Jason has slashed into, Mortal Kombat. Jason appears in Mortal Kombat X, and in his arcade mode story, he's able to defeat an amped version of the god Shinnok, as well as pretty much every other character in that game. This is impressive, given that even base Shinnok was capable of both destroying and fusing together all of the infinite-sized realms of the Mortal Kombat multiverse, which is a pretty blatant low multi to multiversal feat. And again, Jason slammed this god low diffed and went back to killing normal people immediately after. Jason has several other crossovers, including literally one with Dexter of all things, but none get him as powerful as his Mortal Kombat appearance does. So, you know who else appears in Mortal Kombat? Freddy Krueger appears in Mortal Kombat 9, one game before Jason, and might potentially scale to the same feats of X, but it's far less easy to chain scale than it is for Jason just directly slamming Shinnok. Now, we could potentially scale Freddy to Kratos, one of the other guest characters in Mortal Kombat 9, which would pretty easily grant him multiversal power, even when just using Kratos from the Greek era, given that Kratos massively scales over the primordial multiverse-creating gods of the God of War cosmology. Instead, though, we might not even need any crossovers to get Freddy Krueger extremely strong. Nightmare on Elm Street has numerous novels and even statements from its creator Wes Craven that massively expand upon the dream realm, what it is, and what Freddy can do in it. Firstly, the novels clarify that the dream world is not just in people's minds, but it is an alternate parallel universe that mirrors the real world, and also contains the potentially infinite dreams that exist, and Freddy can manipulate this space. This is supported by Wes Craven's statement argument that the dream world is a boundless, non-corporeal realm of dreams. Now, I don't think this means that Krueger is outerversal, but it does mean that at a high end, Freddy would be able to control these infinite dream spaces in pretty much all aspects, which is far more impressive than just making a single planet. So with all that being said, who wins? With all of these boosts, taking most liberally all three of the killers, but especially Freddy and Jason, would unironically be on the same level of Dragon Ball Super Goku, or even better. I can imagine it being a pretty awesome fight. Jason fighting Goku directly, while the physically weaker but far more hacksy Freddy supporting Jason, while Michael kind of just watches, I guess. That being said, I think the killers genuinely have a shot here, but only when including crossovers. So I guess these guys are scarier than we thought. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, thanks to my channel members for supporting the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Uh-oh, bong hit, trying to hit me back.
Vegeta, back off. He's mine. If you want to die, I'm not going to stop you. But you do realize you'll just be providing him with more energy, don't you? Don't interfere, he says. Excellent.
Yeah, you got that 12-6 elbow coming straight in from Piccolo. But Piccolo is over here keeping up with Super Saiyans. Well, beyond Super Saiyans. And he's only in his base mode. Got your arm.
I calculated every contingency.
Yeah,
I
now
think
you
you
were
aren't
left.
quite as powerful as we were led to believe. Or perhaps we're stronger than your precious calculations accounted for. Hurry up and send this piece of junk to the scrapyard, unless you'd rather I interfere and do it for you. I was born as the embodiment of evil, purged from Khan. I'm not nearly as soft as Goku.
He said, I ain't soft like your boy Goku. Oh yeah, we did have some new Dragon Ball
This is
news.
Lord Beerus,
Since we
and
got
unless
rid of
you
that
want your
Halloween
planet
talk, right?
destroyed, subscribe to Geekdom 101.
Right.
It's even better than pudding.
So we've got a potentially massive update in the world of Dragon Ball and where the world of Dragon Ball is headed anime-wise in the future. So you know I always say this, make sure that when it comes to this video you watch it all the way to the end so that you have
What
a
up, Scully?
complete
Good to see you. How you
understanding of
doing?
what's going on, because I already know there's going to be...
You guys know to go check out Scully. He's the author that reads to you. You know, we and him gonna have to get a project going one of these damn days, because I know he want me to do a collaboration. So we gonna have to step it up one of these days, get in there and do some reading with Scully. But hell, I ain't making no promises yet, because you know, it is what it is. We'll get there when we there, right? We got intent though. We got intent.
websites and Facebook pages and Instagram pages that get it wrong or that misinterpret the information. So make sure you watch it all the way to the end, because that way you'll have full clarity about what's going on here, okay? This is massive, massive news. So, if you are a viewer of my channel and you've been loyally watching everything for the past couple of years, you'll remember a video I did called Why Dragon Ball Daima Wears Dragon Ball Super, and that was an in-depth behind-the-scenes video where I discussed that Dragon Ball Super, people like Akio wanted Dragon Ball Super to continue going all the way back to 2019, going all the way back then. But what happened was Fuji TV did not want to turn Dragon Ball Super into a seasonal anime, and because of that, there wasn't enough at the time content in the manga to adapt. If you remember, in 2018, 2019, the Moral arc had just started. So there wasn't enough new content to adapt into a Dragon Ball Super anime, because during the end of the first anime run, Toyotaro was able to catch up with the TOP, and then finally Star Moro. And so because of that, Fuji TV said no, because when it comes to the Toei properties, they don't want seasonal. They want ongoing anime, meaning stuff that doesn't take seasonal breaks. Now, I know that in America, we're used to stuff being seasons, and a lot of other anime shows have seasons. In fact, most of them do now. Cores is what also they're referred to as. Cores are like
What up,
13
CB? Good to
episode
see you. How you
chunks,
doing?
right? But Dragon Ball has never been on that schedule. Dragon Ball, going back to the original
Make sure you
86
pull up on
show,
a homeboy
through
in the chat.
CNGT, ran every
Get you some
Wednesday at
network,
7
man.
p.m. on Fuji TV.
But
And
we
the only
kicking it.
breaks
Super
it
Saturday.
took was like special holidays and things like that. But it was ongoing. There were no seasonal breaks. And that was the big reason as to why, like, long form Dragon Ball shows have always been like that, and that's how Fuji TV preferred it. Well, here comes Daima. And Daima was only 20 episodes, and they put it on the Friday night time slot, which is Friday in the morning for us on this side of the world, but it was Friday night for them. So that's where we stood, because Daima changed everything. Daima allowed them to do more like chunks of episodes as opposed to having it running every single week for a year. Well, guess what? Things are changing, and even though this is going to relate to the future of Dragon Ball big time. So, breaking news from Toei Animation. So, One Piece is taking another 3-month break in January and coming back in April, and with the Elbaf arc, right? Now, they continue to say, beginning in 2026, the anime series will also kick off its new production schedule, dividing into 2 parts for a maximum of 26 episodes per year, in order to dive even deeper into the heart of the One Piece world, incorporating more content, tempo, and pacing of the original manga. So, that means that One Piece is now becoming a seasonal anime. It is now a seasonal anime. This is massive news because One Piece was basically Toei's big shonen king alongside Dragon Ball. And One Piece used to run every single week, non-stop, just like Dragon Ball did. Now that's changing. And that's changing because, and it's going to relate back to Dragon Ball Super in a minute. It's changing because now you're going to have better animators, better production schedule. You're going to have an actual break for the voice actors and for the animators to the production, and therefore it'll allow the series to improve in quality, in production quality, because you want it to look good. You don't want it to be a disaster. And even though I've never seen One Piece, I've never actually watched the show, people have sent me like some animation scenes that don't look too good, right? And Dragon Ball's had similar problems. Well, this is huge because now that Fuji TV and Toei are more comfortable doing seasonal anime, that means that there's no better time like the present to announce the return of Dragon Ball Super or something Dragon Ball related that can be seasonal. Can you imagine if 26 weeks out of the year you got a new One Piece episode and the other 26 you got Dragon Ball? Like, people who are fans of both are going to be eating good. And now that's not only is that possible,
Apparently
but that's
this bong
actually
trying to act
likely.
like it's got a
I've
never-ending
talked
bowl.
about this on multiple streams.
What?
And I'm going to be doing another stream later this week, probably tomorrow. We're going to be discussing this in even more detail live, and I'll be bringing some of you on. We're going to do a call-in show. At least that's the plan right now. Some of you want to talk about it, so it's going to be a good time. Once again, let me kind of break this down a bit more. If Dragon Ball goes to being seasonal, finally, after all these years, the moral arc could be 1 or even 2 seasons, like 2 26-episode chunks. That will allow the manga, the Dragon Ball Super manga, because it's monthly, to actually develop its story arcs and move on to the next thing and continue going, right? While the anime is adapting the stuff from a couple years ago, just like any other series. But with the series taking a break, it'll let the manga go even further. I was gonna say further beyond, but
all right, now
that's
that's
a Dragon
cash.
Ball phrase. It'll go go even further
Damn it, Bobby.
to, you know, like basically get so that the anime doesn't catch up, so that we don't have the same problem that Super had before, where we're waiting for the development of a new arc. They can just get right into it. And that's big for One Piece fans. I know a lot of them are very happy about this. And for Dragon Ball fans,
Yeah, that means, I mean, with them taking breaks, they're trying to give themselves time to actually do shit. As long as the writers keep writing, right? Shout out to Toritaro, man. We got to get him to delegate some of these tasks to artists, and you just do the writing type shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that way the people that got to draw pictures, they the ones gonna be mad because then they gonna have to figure out how to not use AI so they can still get paid.
it's going to be good for us as well, because 26 episodes a year, or even if it's 13, even if it's somewhere like 20, like Daima, that'll give everybody a chance to take a break when it's not on. The animators, the voice actors, the production staff can work on something else. You won't have as many animation issues, and even the content creators like myself can cover the show for the 6 months it's on, and then the other 6 months we can speculate and do evergreen content and do other series. And that is exciting, because that's actually the best schedule, I think, for me. But wait, there's more. Something else that I've been keeping an eye on is the fact that this Dragon Ball announcement that I covered a few videos ago about the upcoming 40th anniversary event in January, I did a video about that a few days ago. You can check that out. I'll leave it up here in just a minute if you haven't seen that video, because this is potentially this is going to be a big event. It's Nasawa's going to be there, Akio and Kageyama. So I've been told it's supposed to be like a new beginning. That's the phrasing that was told to me. So let's see what that is. It could be a new beginning for Super. It could be another project. A movie. There's all kinds of rumors about it, and I've covered it in that other video, so check that video out. But this is what I wanted to show you in this video, right? It's being retweeted by, this is Yuya Takahashi, who this is. A lot of the Dragon Ball animators have been promoting this. Now, that's not really a big story, because they oftentimes will co-promote with Toei, with Shueisha. That's not really a big story, but I've noticed animators have been pushing this. And because Akio is at this event, it's...
Hell yeah, I got some good stuff. I got a whole fucking, my trim tray, the underneath screen's all the way fucking loaded with keef, which is what I just put this bong right here. Shout out to my Easter basket that I got from my sister. I gave y'all the info on that back in April. But anyways, yeah, I just loaded this whole bowl with keef. So, you know, I'm finna be baked and fried all damn day. But that's only because I'm out of flour at the moment. I got one joint left of regular flour, which is crazy for me. Well, hell, I got the nectar collector, the dab straw, the bong, and plenty of keef. So I found me something to do for right now. I got to go out this afternoon and do a few things. So I'll probably make sure I come home with something to smoke. Hell. But anyways, back to the Dragon Ball news. We're going to have a seasonal show, which is cool because they already got 2 complete little arcs to do. They got the Moro arc and then the Granola arc. And if he's already back writing now, that means he'll be 2 ahead and working on 1, right? For those that's doing the math and keeping up.
going to be more anime and video game related, and because that's what Capsule Corp Tokyo is going to be focused on. We're going to get the announcement of a new Dragon Ball game, which again, I covered that in the other video, and 2 new projects. 2 new Dragon Ball projects, not video game related. That's going to be exciting. January 25th, 2026. So if the announcement is seasonal Dragon Ball Super anime, that's the best news that we could have for everyone who wants to see Moro, because you'll get it in better animation, probably closer to what Daima gave us, with better pacing, Two, probably a lot less filler.
Bless me.
And maybe a lot less changes to the overall story in comparison to how Super was, where you had the anime and the manga having some pretty drastic changes when that was on. So anyways, on your screen right now are the other videos that you need to watch, including the one.
And by drastic, he means in the manga, Gohan. Shouts out to AKA Riz Han. You know, your boy Riz Hanio. Yeah, I went there. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Bye. But Rizhan was the one who defeated Kefla versus UI Goku. Nah. Let Goku fight Jiren like he was and give Rizhan his respect. Because, Gohan ain't, wasted potential like some of us like to say sometimes. But hell, I never said that. I understood Gohan from the beginning. You get kidnapped by your uncle and now you stuck in a life of shit for a while. And in the peace times, you like, nigga, I am not training. Nah, I'm not. I'm just not gonna do it. I ain't gonna keep up with nothing. When shit gets serious, either I'll come back and get my strength back up, or I'm gonna die. Hell, because he was smart enough to know that part of the game.
Covering the Akio story from a couple years ago and how it's changed now. So things are moving in the world of Dragon Ball. Keep it locked in here for all the upcoming news, and I'll be streaming real soon, all right, about all this. So join me there. Take care. Have a good one. See you then.
Impact statements after the castle. Hey, JR, nigga. He made it out of last after all that happened. That bitch, nigga. After Michigan State, after hovering when our mans told us the bands they took from us. Joy Road, bitch, but the money long as 6 mile break mile.
Hey, that cosplays what's popping.
Number 4 special then comes to a close.
Yeah, well, let's start the video from the top, bucko.
We'll spare your life.
Thought I watched it, but I didn't know I watched it. Not all of it.
Subscribe.
Wow.
Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for tons of exclusive content to early access.
Like he said, go over to his YouTube channel and then go over to his Patreon so you can get ahead of the game. That way when we come in here on Super Saturdays, y'all just happy to watch it with me, right? Right.
Media and much more. Do it now or else.
Now, while I will admit that what just took place here on Lord Beerus' planet was an extremely close call, not just for both Goku and Vegeta, but for Lord Beerus and the entirety of Universe 7 if it weren't for some last-second changes that needed to be put in place. But even now, while we ponder on just how we can further improve within the so-called much-needed improvement, I think I may have a very interesting idea that'll surely be extremely beneficial for both parties.
All right, I'm gonna quit hitting the ball. Take a breather.
As our story now continues, following the initial events within the tournament realm, as the Grand Priest went on to sense a mysterious yet very unsettling force being felt from outside of the multiverse, to which it was only upon the mesmerized by the size of the stage while the Grand Priest went on to ponder as to what this force was that he had felt, was when the Grand Priest then went on to respond, I can't help but shake this feeling on what that was that I had just sensed, for it was a surge of darkness and the power so foreign, but yet so intense and so faint that it felt as though it was coming from far beyond the edges of our own reality. The Grand Priest
Might have to take my damn
so
robe
this is
off.
not something that I can just go and simply ignore, for whatever that was just now, it was powerful enough for
Listen.
it to be felt from across the
Yeah.
multiverse, but
We
it
alright.
felt as though it had
I'm alright.
originated from outside of it, for I must understand as to what this is, where it came from, and more importantly, to go and find out on whether it poses threat to our existence or not, given the nature and the force behind what that was, for the Omni Kings must not find out before I do, as their responses could be impulsive, driven by fear or anger upon finding out, which could ultimately lead in having to spell disaster for all of us, which is why they must not find out before me, the Grand Priest continues. However, there is that chance that perhaps this was nothing but a mere anomaly in the cosmic fabric of existence, but even if it was, there was something about it that felt familiar in a way, which is really starting to bother me because I can't quite put my finger as to why that is. For it almost feels as though I have felt this energy before, but I can't make out as to where, for I cannot afford to dismiss it entirely, the Grand Priest adds, but I must go and tread carefully, for the Omni King's desires for this upcoming tournament are extremely paramount, lest they are to be angered in any sort of way, and so I must be careful with how I handle this in order to make sure that the Omni Kings are not disturbed by this in the meantime, as they must go and be catered to at all times to ensure that the event unfolds exactly as they wish, the Grand Priest continues, but I still cannot afford to let this unexplained surge go unchecked either, or it could end up posing a major threat to the very balance that we are striving to also maintain. As whatever this was, I must go and investigate quietly so that nothing disrupts the preparation of the second tournament of power in the meantime. While the Omni Kings are very eager to have this Omniversal Tournament of Power be waged under their watchful eye while having full control over it, the last thing that we need is for the Omni Kings to become unsettled over this unexplained energy, as the 12 existing universes are but a small fraction of the infinite tapestry that is of the Omniverse, where there are even realms out there that exist that even I have yet to fully explore without proper approval by the Omni Kings, and so, because of this fact, it could go as far as to potentially harbor places where darkness could hide and grow unchecked, and so I must find the time to investigate this anomaly quietly and discreetly without having to draw unwanted attention in the meantime. But then, it was only from out of nowhere with both of the Omni Kings having to notice that the Grand Priest was seemingly unsettled was when both of the Omni Kings then went on to respond, "Hey, are you okay, Grand Minister? Something seems to be bothering you because your entire mood has changed, and so is everything okay with you?" The changed? Oh no, there is nothing that is bothering me whatsoever, sires, the Grand Priest responds, as I was only thinking about what to go and include next that'll go along with our newly developed stage, and so I do humbly apologize if I have concerned you both by any chance, but if you wish for me to go and continue with the event's design, then whatever it is that you wish to have included or removed will be to follow through on, and so what is it that you wish for me to go and do, sires, with the present Omni King responding, "Well, actually, I have an idea that we should go and include because it does look a little empty down there, and so this is what I think we should go and do," with the future Omni King quickly chiming back in. "Oh, yeah, and do make sure to also go and tell him everything, so that way we can go and have everything come out exactly as we hoped that we would," with the present Omni King then responding, "Yeah, you bet, and so for starters, you should go and create our throne area where all three of us are seated together with the top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse sitting right there next to us too, and we want it to be done right over there, and so we're hoping that you can go and make that," with the future Omni King then responding, "Yeah, and what we also want is a spectator area that curves around the ring on both sides, so that way we could have special fighters be seated while the event is shown taking place." "Well, very well then, sires, for I will hereby conduct a throne area for us to watch as the tournament unfolds," the Grand Priest went on to then stick his arm out by responding, along with going as far as to add additional seating for the 4 strongest, including warriors whom you would wish to go and join us for this upcoming event. And so now if you would give me just a minute here for me to go and spawn them in here, and there we are now, the Grand Priest continues. "For all that is left now for me to go and create would be the seating area for all the remaining 4 strongest in the multiverse, but thus far, I do hope that you both like what I've created for you thus far, as I do also hope that it is to your very liking, sires," with both of the Omni Kings responding, "Whoa, it looks so cool! Is that really made for us along with the spectators of our choosing?" with the Grand Priest responding, "Well, it certainly is, and if you both wish to go and test these seats out for yourselves, then by all means you may go and choose to do so if you wish, sires," which it was only then within that very moment as both Omni Kings went on to observe the entirety of the arena was when the Grand Priest then went on to say to himself, "Good, and so now while the Omni Kings are off exploring the stage and marveling at the arena that I have constructed for them, their joy is very essential, for I must continue to make sure that everything is perfect perfect for the upcoming tournament. However, that strange anomaly still lingers within me, and so while I complete the preparations for the Omniversal Tournament of Power 2, I must go and find the time to investigate this anomaly in secret, for if this turns out to be some kind of a threat, then I must find a way to neutralize it before the Omni Kings become aware, the Grand Priest continues, for they are very unpredictable, and if they sense a disturbance, then it could lead to chaos, and so I must be cautious, deliberate, and thorough, for this is a delicate balance and...
So they said in general, the Grand Minister's sensory perception, his sensory perception is higher than the Omni King's, because the Omni King didn't sense none of that. But, he minded his own business, enjoying himself at the moment. Both of them, I should say. They and them, I don't use that shit.
With the utmost care without them even knowing, to which all the while when then venturing back on over into Universe 7, that we only just then happened to oversee as Whis was beginning to repair Beerus' plan, with Beerus beginning to scald both Goku and Vegeta, as Beerus then went on to...
What up, Izzy Call? Good to see you. How you doing?
Realize on what you've done and nearly went on to do here, for not only have you managed to destroy my entire planet, but you nearly brought the universe to its knees along the way, and for what? A brief scrimmage and a reckless display of power with no thought to the consequences behind them? No, for this is all your fault, Goku, for you are the worst offender between you.
I love how Beerus and Whis was the ones that said they needed to fight. Then they get mad because his planet get blew up.
You know that? And for you to go and unleash your dragon...
That's how you write a cat, though, right, Izzy?
And with no thought to the destruction
I'm definitely doing fine here. I done got high as hell with Scully.
Stupid-looking face,
Hits from the bone.
Beerus then went on to continue, for the entire universe was on the brink of collapse because of your stupidity, as I should go and destroy you now for your insolence, but know this, Goku, for you are the only one that carries the weight of this despair, with Goku responding, gosh, well, I'm sorry, Lord Beerus, you know that I never intended on trying to destroy your entire planet, or let alone go and put the entire universe at risk with my attack. Oh, you're sorry now, aren't you? Oh, you've got some nerve, you. And all done, my Lord. Whis went on to then quickly chime in, for I wouldn't want to go and get too worked up here if I were you, because it would be better instead to put all of that energy into more of a productive approach, beginning, of course, by having to grade them both on how they performed against one another, and so I'll go first and briefly go over what I saw, Lord Beerus. And so I'll begin with you, Vegeta, for while your battle against Goku was a great testament to your power along with your resolve while wielding your mastered Ultra Ego transformation, Whis says, it unfortunately also highlighted some weaknesses about it as well, for I sensed a great deal of...
Definitely been putting in work with them overlays here. I appreciate that.
Also clouded your focus in battle as well, and it's better...
Y'all know if y'all need any work done to hit up Izzy Pop, because that's what she like to do. Being here advertising. I like that. Speaking of which, we got some buy me a coffee money today. Or I just checked today, I should say.
Capitalize on your mistakes. So by allowing for your anger to go and take control, you lost sight of what Lord Beerus had been
appreciate all supporters, though.
Learn to maintain your focus and to use your anger as a tool and not as a crutch. For you should never underestimate anybody, even if you find yourself as being the one who is in complete control for within that moment. But now as for you, Goku, Whis went on to then point out to Goku by then responding, while your mastery of your primal Ultra Instinct level is impressive when compared to how you were shown wielding it before, there are still areas where you must improve on if you wish to truly harness its full potential. For I noticed that during your battle with Vegeta that you were holding back not just physically, but also mentally as well, Whis continues. For you had went and allowed for yourself to be swayed by your emotions, excited by the thought of battling your long-time rival again, but you went on to give Vegeta too many opportunities to attack you, rather than, of course, maintaining the purity of Ultra Instinct's core principle, which, of course, is the complete detachment from emotional interference, and in doing so, Whis continues, you went on to compromise the true effectiveness of the transformation, despite with you having to unleash your Dragon Cannon, as Vegeta was able to hold it in place, with Goku then having to question. Well, I won't say that I didn't allow for my excitement to go and get the better of my judgment, since I really wanted to go and see as to what Vegeta's mastered Ultra Ego power was capable of against my Primal Ultra Instinct level, but I guess I did hold a bit of my power back in hopes of trying to get more out of Vegeta, since, well, I couldn't really go and use my angel form against him since it was against the rules, but, well, I'm really trying to think to see if there was anything else, because Vegeta did happen to get the better of me a few times when I least expected it, so he did go on to get me pretty good too, so maybe I was a little too worried about the time that we had, since of course we knew that we didn't have much of it, so I was trying to figure out a way on how to balance our battle, without of course having to go all out with Vegeta from the very beginning of all of this, and so I'm trying to think, with Vegeta responding, so
Yeah, see, Goku, you make no sense. Once again, it sounds like actual Goku, though. He over here, like, well, I couldn't use my angel transformation, so I didn't want to actually fuck around and tap into that type of power because he's saying that's how easy it is for him to do. Like, if I'm going all out, it'll fuck around and put me in my angel transformation, is what he basically said, for those that are slow and didn't hear him. So he's like, shit, I don't want to hear that shit, Goku. I could have took on your angel motherfucking transformation because this is mastered in ultra ego in this bitch. So you know how he do. Watch. Let's listen to what he say. Watch what Vegeta say though, because Goku over here on this bullshit.
I knew that you would, for you went and held back what you truly intended on using, only so that you can try and engage me further whilst measuring your potential next to mine, didn't you? And so you went and panicked, and so do you see? He didn't go all out and use everything that he had against me because he knew that deep down that without that angel form in his pockets, he couldn't have possibly held out against my destroyer form and defeat me in the long haul, and he knows it. As I refuse to be seen as inferior to Kakarot's primal power when I know that my potential whilst wielding my destroyer form easily goes on to far surpass his own, and so the balance tips in his favor unless I were to go and find an evolution of my own that will only go as far as to match his, with Beerus then questioning, to find another evolution, you say? Is that so now, Vegeta? Well, while I find your case to be made against Goku to be a valid one, what exactly is it that you're suggesting here, with Whis chiming in? Well, how very interesting, but I'm not really surprised by your ambitions to go and try to do so, and because of this, what are you trying to say here then, Vegeta? Because we're listening, with Vegeta responding, well, what I'm saying here is that I know that there's gotta be a level that goes far beyond the one that I currently wield while at my strongest, but how do I evolve myself beyond what I am now is the question. For what methods do I need to go and follow in order for me to access the next level of power, because I know that there must be something beyond it. And while I refuse to walk down the same path that Kakarot had taken, Vegeta continues, this goes far above him, because even if I am able to go far above Kakarot's power, then there's always the Grand Priest. And that it almost feels as though it'll be impossible for me to go and rival, but I still have to go and try, and I won't stop trying until I am able.
See, Vegeta on that. Nah, Goku ain't even my new rival. I done fought the Grand Priest. Man, hell, fuck Goku. Yeah, I gotta pass Goku so I can even catch up to the Grand Priest. Yeah, because that's who he's looking at now, right? Look at him. Yeah, he's like, that's the Grand Priest. I'm over here thinking about doing him bad now. For what reason? Because I just gotta be stronger than everything. 'Cause God damn it, I don't believe in there's something stronger than me.
To find it, Vegeta continues, and so while I know that I had Kakarot right where I wanted him, since I know that for a fact he couldn't have been able to outlast me, especially when it came down to enduring the most punishments, I must go and try to find the answers that'll guide me towards where I need to go and be, with Beerus then having to look over my questioning, and oh, I know that look that I see on your face more than anyone, and so what are you thinking about there, Whis? For I don't like it. And so now hurry it up and cough it out, with Whis having to then suggest, well, I indeed do, and so how about I go and propose an alternative that I believe would surely come in handy for you both in the long run. And now, even though this may come as a sudden and shocking surprise to everyone, Whis went on to then continue, but what I think that we should go and do is I propose that we momentarily switch students for just half an hour, as during this time, I will go and take Vegeta under my guidance, while you, Lord Beerus, go and take Goku under...
Technically, they both are Whis' student, but at the moment, Beerus is training Vegeta. Because at the end of the damn day, when Vegeta came, what he had said, well, I can only train you if you want to be a destroyer. So that means if you start getting trained by me, you're on the path of being a destroyer. Now, when the time comes, that means you'll have to be a destroyer. But that also means you can only get the training if you know you don't have a job. So therefore, that's why Whis is like, yeah, let me step in and do my actual job, because Beerus is doing his thing, but this is where I actually, hit him with the yeah means.
Yours. And of course, once we do, the idea here is not to go and undermine the progress that we have already made under their respective mentors, but to go and provide them with an additional perspective that could help them unlock new facets to their already newly discovered powers, and also allowing for them not only to improve in certain areas that may call for our attention, but once we are done teaching them, Whis continues, could we only from that point then go as far as to resume their original training under their proper teacher that each of them were previously shown having to be appointed to? And so what do you think? As Goku then went on to quickly shout, wait, say what now? A momentary switch for us to go and swap teachers for just about half an hour? Is he serious? Vegeta went on to then question, but would that really go as far as to make a difference if we did? As an infuriated Beerus then went on to quickly respond, are you crazy? What is wrong with you people here today? And just what makes you think that I'd even want to go and help that idiot Goku in the first place, Whis? He's your responsibility, not mine. Well, not for nothing, Lord Beerus, but you did go on to mention on how you've always wanted to go and have your rematch with Goku once he would grow to become strong enough to face you, and well, I think that we can both agree that he is far more than ready at the moment, wouldn't you say? Well, I suppose 30 minutes wouldn't go and cost us much of anything, Vegeta responds, especially if it means of having to learn of new ways of how to already strengthen our current levels of power, whilst also following two entirely separate paths, and so this could work out for the better in the long run, if anything, with Goku responding, yeah, well, I guess there wouldn't be any harm in getting the chance to see if I could also tap into more of my destructive side and seeing if Lord Beerus can help me manage and come up with a method for me to refine my attacks like how he was shown able to do for Vegeta, but I guess it'll be tricky, with Beerus responding, you do understand that this was not what I originally had in mind, didn't you, Whis? Because I'd rather starve than help that Goku out with anything, and you know it deep down, with Whis responding, nor so you say, my lord, but I'll go and be the first one to start then, as I want you to listen very closely to what I'm about to say, Vegeta. For within a matter of moments, I will be sending you off into a place called the Mirror Realm, where I will need for you to go and seek out the Elder Sage and see what you can learn upon having him show you the path that you are currently on, which will lead you down the road to your inevitable future, Whis continues. As I went on to send Goku into this realm once before, and so now it is your turn to see what you can go and discover, with Vegeta responding, the Mirror Realm, and what am I supposed to do while looking for this so-called sage? Stare at mirrors, with Goku responding, hey, yeah, I remember going into that realm once before, and it's a pretty freaky looking place, that much I can tell you, Vegeta. Well, actually, you'd be quite surprised if you do, Whis went on to then respond, but what I will say is that if you are able to locate the Elder Sage from within, then he will be the perfect person to guide you into seeing what your future will be shaped like, but only if you have the wisdom to look past your mortality and just take a little bit of a closer look within. And so while you're inside, do try and focus your mind on not just on what you'll be seeing coming through your reflection, but do try and, however, focus your spirit in paying very close attention to every word that the Elder Sage tells you, so that way you can truly see on what the future has in store for you, Vegeta, Whis continues. And so with that being said, you should go and take your leave now while the portal into this realm is opened, as Vegeta went on to proceed towards the portal by having to then turn around by addressing Goku and responding, Kakarot, you better start counting your lucky days while you still can, because once I come back, not only will I be armed with the necessary knowledge and power to crush your primal ultra instinct once and for all, but don't think that your angel form will be beyond my reach either, for I promise you this. I will go on to find a way to match it in battle, and as soon as I do, then you will know on who the strongest between us will truly be, so go and keep that in mind. Well, alright then, Vegeta, and so I hope that you're able to find what you're looking for while you're in there, Goku responds upon Vegeta being shown having to step on through. Oh, and try not to go and get on that Elder Sage's bad side either, because from what I can remember, he can be a little grumpy to try and speak with, but then, it was suddenly from out of nowhere before Goku could even go as far as to finish his sentence was when Beerus went on to quickly interrupt by responding, and you ought to be more worried about yourself here more than you should with Vegeta, saying, as Whis went on to then chime back in, and so now with Goku all that's left, do you have anything in mind that you would like to go and show our student here, my lord? With Beerus responding, oh, don't you ever in your life go and refer to this idiot as my student, Whis, for I will only go and mentor one, and lucky for me, he's not one of them. But since we are already on this subject, I do have one thing to go and address with you, and that's how is it that someone as calm and kind-hearted as yourself could possibly be able to wield a destroyer's ability to use the Hakai? Oh, and don't you go and act dumb with me either, Saiyan. You stole it from me, remember? Against that fallen Kaioshin from the 10th, Zamasu, was it? Yes. For you had went and tried using it on his fusion in the future timeline, but failed, and so how did you do it? With Goku responding, oh wow, you still remember that, Lord Beerus? But that was like a bajillion years ago, and so no, I didn't mean to all you thought that you could
Technically, it
just
wasn't
go and
that
see
long
all my
ago, Goku.
techniques and figured that I wouldn't go and say anything now, did you? Well, there you go. That's your problem, Saiyan, for even while you bear the ability to destroy, when up against an enemy that calls for it, you always somehow go and find a way to give them the benefit of the doubt, now don't you? Wait, but surely you're not saying that I should have just went and tried to use that move on Vegeta and Hakai him now, are you, Lord Beerus? Oh no, you idiots, because then I would have Hakai'd you for Hakai'ing Vegeta, Saiyan, as Whis went on to then chime back in. Oh dear, well maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all, since those two seem to be already going back and forth and arguing already. Well, I guess the only thing that we have to do now is wait and see if this actually goes anywhere or not, then. Which it was only then during this time as Vegeta was finally now shown having to enter inside of the mirror realm and having to behold this dimension for himself was when Vegeta then went on to quickly respond, so this is the mirror realm. The air here, it's different. Heavier somehow, as if it carries the weight of 1,000 battles that have been won and lost, as the atmosphere here feels nothing like it does back in Universe 7, for it feels like something else entirely, something otherworldly, and these power levels that I'm sensing all around me, for I can feel their vibration, but at the same time, they also seem to be coming from within. But how is that possible, Vegeta questions? What is this place? For I've never felt anything like the sensation that I'm feeling like this before, for it's almost as if each power level that I'm sensing is a reflection of myself, as it almost feels like these are different vibrations and versions of my own strength that I feel all around me. But what does it mean? What in the... That's me, as a child, Vegeta went on to then turn by having to notice his younger self in the mirror. How is it possible that I am able to look into the reflection of my younger self, with my younger self having to look right back at me like this? But yes, now I understand. These mirrors, this world, it's supposed to show me the events of my life like this, as even now, while I stare into a time that is now long gone, I remember that face, for those eyes filled with fire and hunger to prove myself to everyone who had ever doubted me, for it almost feels strange having to see myself like this and having to be reminded of where I once was. But even now, I couldn't have been any prouder appear to have come as far as I did from where I once started, but then it was only just upon with Vegeta being shown having to turn right around and noticing another version of himself when he was younger during the Saiyan invasion was when Vegeta went on to respond. And speaking of being reminded of my past, then there was this. A reflection of myself from the days on Earth when I first had went and arrived with Nappa. For I remember that time so clearly, as I had always felt as though I had a chip on my shoulder and thinking that I was unbeatable until the day where I came across Kakarot. For he had challenged everything that I believed in and showed me that my arrogance was nothing more than a liability, Vegeta continues. For that battle had went on to change my life forever, and I was right to move beyond what I thought was right at the time. But even now, how could I forget when my back was up against the wall during the Tournament of Power and with no other way out and with no other way of pushing through, and I was forced to evolve myself beyond the standard norms of what it meant to wield Super Saiyan Blue, and had only from there obtained an evolution that would finally rival Kakarot's Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken at the time. But then there was this one. Vegeta went on to then turn towards another mirror by seeing his Majin self in the reflection. The darkest side of my very soul and the one that I tried so hard to bury. The face of the Majin Saiyan. A side of me that was so ruthless and so violent that it can only ever be compared to how I am now while wielding my mastered Ultra Ego form. But even then, I was merely just a pawn within a much bigger game compared to now where I hover above the gods at my absolute best. As it was this very darkness that had nearly went on to consume me, Vegeta continues, and when looking back, how glad I am that it hadn't, because if it did, then where would I be if I had continued to serve as a pawn, Vegeta questions? For my very destiny would have ultimately have led me to the grave if it did. But now that I have full control over the monster that slumbered from within, all I need to go and do now is just find another way to evolve it, just like I did before. But what's this? For I have never seen myself wielding a form that looks anything like the one that I see here before. That fur and that radiating primal aura, Vegeta continues. For I can feel the power emanating from it being strong and fierce, but although it doesn't match the strength that I currently possess now, Vegeta continues, as I appear to be much stronger than what it is that I see in this reflection, but still, just what kind of timeline does this happen to just come from? Because it certainly doesn't come from my own. And so therefore, if it doesn't, Vegeta went on to then tap on the glass by responding, then where exactly does this version of me come from? And more importantly, are just what kind of events have led to this strange transformation, Vegeta questions? For I need to know more, and I must try to understand what this reflection is trying to show me, and especially if I am looking to further evolve my mastered Ultra Ego powers. But then, it was only just suddenly from out of nowhere behind Vegeta, before Vegeta could even understand as to what was happening, was when the Elder Sage went on to creep up behind Vegeta by then responding, whatever curiosity that may set you apart from those who wish to never want to know, only makes me want to hereby ask the question on just what exactly would a mortal warrior such as yourself be so curious about that they would find themselves wandering into my domain like this. For let me go and take a guess. Did Universe 7's Angel Whis go and put you up to this saying? What the hell? And just who the hell are you and where the hell did you just come from? And how are you able to get so close without me being able to sense your presence, Vegeta asks. Answer me, you wretched old man. For I didn't come into this realm to play any sort of games here either, and so I demand answers. Now, where is this so-called Elder Sage that I kept hearing so much about, Vegeta went on to then further ask. And you better start talking, because if you're trying to play any sort of trick on me, just know that I'll be having none of it. And so now tell me who you are and where I can go and find this sage so that I can acquire the answers to the questions that I have. As the Elder Sage went on to then respond, foolish Saiyan, you demand to know where I am, yet you do not see that I am standing right here in front of you, for I am the Elder Sage, and you are within my domain. For it would only seem as though you are far far more aggressive than the last mortal that Whis had decided to go and throw into my dimension, but alas, now that you are here, I think I know on exactly what it is that you are looking for. As a surprise, Vegeta went on to then respond, wait, so you're the Elder Sage? So you're the guardian of this realm that I was sent here to see? And how do you know on what it is that I am looking for when I haven't even told you? With the Elder Sage responding, because you are as curious as the one who came before you that went by the name of Son Goku, and so I know exactly as to why you're here. And if you are anything like the previous Saiyan was upon coming here, the Elder Sage continues, then you are likely seeking answers to the questions that you have about your evolution, do you not? For what you see and what it was that you saw aren't just mere reflections of your appearance, but they are windows into the deepest parts of your very soul, Saiyan, for they go on to reveal both your past, your present, and if you are wise enough, your future as well, the Elder Sage continues, as each mirror acts as a gateway and the portal that reflects on not just what is on the surface, but the very essence of who you are deep within. But while you are here and based on what I can see, my question then becomes more about if you have the courage to face on what they show, or on whether or not you will continue to lash out blindly while clouded by your own anger and frustrations to see beyond your rage, the Elder Sage continues, as I can already see that you are nothing like the Saiyan mortal who came before you a long time ago, which I also find very interesting when looking at how different you both appear to be from the surface. However, since you were already sent here with a purpose that is similar to the warrior who came before you, let us proceed and carry on with these questions and see if you have the wisdom within to unlock the answers that you came here looking for, as it was only right then and there now during that moment where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Omniverse, the official top 5 strongest warriors in the multiverse sequel, manga chapter number 4 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before,
Look at that old man with them big ass earlobes,
if you
though.
aren't already a member of
Big ass earlobes is
then
huge.
you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing, because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section as well. Now I will go as far as to say that although I didn't expect for things to have turned out the way they did, I do, however, believe that this will be a great exercise for the Saiyans in allowing for them both to go and expand their horizons before having to resume their normal training routines with their designated teachers. But while Vegeta goes off and out of his way to go and speak with the Elder Sage and seeing if he could unlock and discover the answers to the questions that he is desperately trying to answer, you do not want to miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video, as before you leave, do make sure to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as subscribing to Unreal Gaming's channel in case you are new around here. We thank you all for watching and hope you all have a wonderful day, everyone, as we'll see you all in the next one.
Now, I know it might
Oh,
be
we got
weird,
another video
maybe
to
even a
do too.
little bit sus, but
Yeah,
just trust me,
we had
okay?
some
Just shove it in your
content for the
mouth,
week.
Batman. Say what now? I will do no such thing, Talking Bug Man, but what I will do is encourage you all to subscribe to Unreal Gaming.
He'll be back. Don't worry.
Super Janemba versus Super Boo. Just like their previous forms, these two transformations mirror each other. Super Janemba is vastly stronger than his earlier form and makes quick work of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, defeating him with ease. To determine a winner here, it's helpful to compare how Goku and Vegeta fare against each villain. In Hell, Janemba utterly dominates them. They're beaten down and quickly realize that fusion is the only viable path forward. They never attempt to fight him again individually once they lose. In contrast, when Goku and Vegeta fight Super Boo from inside his body, the situation is different. While still heavily outmatched, they are able to exchange blows and continue the fight. It's also worth noting that their power is significantly reduced in this battle, said to be about 1/100th of their original strength, due to the shrunken size inside Boo. Though fusion is still considered necessary to defeat Super Boo, Goku and Vegeta put up more resistance against him than they did against Janemba. Some might argue Goku was stronger in the anime's filler segments during the Mind Trap arc, but even setting that aside, their performance against Janemba was clearly more one one-sided. Given this, the edge in a direct matchup leans to
yourself on the Unrelent Gaming channel. How fortunate for you. I, Lord Freezer, will spare your life as long as you subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon for tons of exclusive content, to early access media, and much more. Do it now, or else.
12 tabs. See, slowly be getting it in. Shouts out to the big homie showing y'all a demo.
いぞ。
修行は順調のようだ。
はい、それでは修行を始めましょう。素早く無駄のない動きで敵を倒してください。修行の相手としては十分でしょう。あなた方には申し訳ないですが、少々お付き合いください。うまく距離を保ちつつ戦わないとボコボコにされちゃいますよ。この調子ならあっという間に強くなるでしょうね。覚えが早いと教えるのも楽しいですよ。皆さんつわもの揃いですから存分に胸をお借りなさい。まだ頭で考えて動いてますね。それでは速さに限界がありますよ。彼らを相手にそれだけ立ち回れるのは大したものです。ひょっとするとあなたかなりの逸材かもしれません。よく彼らを倒しましたね。正直そこまでやるとは思ってもみませんでしたよ。怖がる必要はありませんよ。何も恐ろしいものではありません。
貴様に足りないのは闘争心だ。いくら強くなってもそれでは勝てんぞ。貴様の手助けなんぞ期待していない。何も気にせず徹底的に貴様と戦いたかったんだ。ぶっ潰してやるぞ。今こそ超えてやるぞ。俺はその本気をさらに上回ってみせる。よくわからんがなかなか強かったな。力の大会は無理か。こいつ強いな。
頑張りましたねあなた。以前と比べて格段に強くなりましたよ。
昔の俺とは一味も二味も違うぜ。もう貴様の時代じゃないってことだ。自分のパワーに振り回されやがって全宇宙の運命をかけた戦いになるな。二度と修復できないよう粉々にしてやる。子供に戻っても大人と変わらず楽しそうに。まあいいさ、面白いやつだ。
お腹が空いてきましたね。いえいえ、俺なんていいんですよ。ところで兄上が上だったのは1000年前の話です。今はどちらが強いか分かりませんよ。まだまだ馬には勝てそうにありませんね。油断している場面も多すぎます。
カントゲド粉々に吹っ飛ばしてやる。
おめえ、いいと面白いこと言うな。
なんなんだい君らは。いきなり割って入ってきて。お前どうせ力があり余ってるんだろう。たまにはこっちのことも手伝ったらどうなんだ。なんとしても大会で優勝しなきゃならないんだぞ。力ずくでもお前を大会に連れて行く。
もうあの時のようにはいかねえぞ。おめえたちに殺されたみんなのためにも、おめえのためにこりゃ全開で戦わないとやべえかもな。
一つだけ教えてやる。俺は貴様と戦わなければならない。今度こそ俺が勝たせてもらうぞ。とっととかかってこい。情けないやつらめ。
あなたはもっと気を制御する方法を覚えなけれ
Clear
ば
this
それ
out.
ができれば超えられるかもしれません。本気でかかってきてくださいね。私なら大丈夫ですから。では私が直々にお手合わせいたしましょう。最後は時間がかかりすぎですね。本物よりは弱いピのようなものですが、もう少し早く倒せませんかね。力の大会では敵は四方八方からやってきますよ。のお誘いを受けてドーナツなるものを食べに来たのですが、今度は少し相手を強くしてみました。どんどん参りましょう。
まさかこんなもんじゃねえよな。
だから貴様はバカだって言うんだ。くだらんことをグダグダと。もっと戦いに集中したらどうなんだ。そんな奴にやられやがって。貴様は俺の獲物なんだぞ。
おいベジータ、そりゃねえだろ。一体どんなトレーニングしたんだ。いつまで兄弟喧嘩してたら強くなんな。想像したこともなかったぞ。
これで第7宇宙が負けでもしたら一生恨んでやる。分けてどこまでも出てやるんだからな。こうなったら後で後悔してもお前が諦めるまで僕は絶対に諦めないからな。だが無性にイライラするからね。ここ破壊して帰るか。一段と強くなったみたいだね。今度こそ僕に勝てるかもしれないよ。君も戦いのセンスだけは天才的だけどね。その高々とした鼻に絶対手こきにしてお前らの自信を粉々に破壊してやる。このストレスをどこに持っていけばいいんだ。冗談はその体だけにしてもらいたいもんだね。もう我慢の限界だ。破壊神相手にその偉そうな口を気にしろこのバカ。所詮は下級戦士無様なものだぜ。貴様がここまで強くなるとは思っていなかった。それが限界だとしたらとんだ期待始めだぜ。少しはマシな動きができるようだな。教えがいがありそうだ。どれほど成長したか正直言って驚いてるぜ。つまらん様子見はやめて攻めなければ始まらんだろう。これ式の優位で調子に乗るとは物
気にも程があるだろう。まだ勝負は決まっていない。俺ならすぐに形勢逆転できるぞ。何かきっかけが必要だな。ほぼ互角の相手に遠慮してどうする。さっさと決めやがれ。自ら交代を選ぶというのか。ここまで見届けてやったんだ。大逆転劇でも見せてもらおうか。一撃が重いだけに苦しいところか。それにしてもこの容赦のない攻め方は悪くない。この手数は次の攻撃への布石か。下手をすれば次の一撃で勝負は決まるだろう。時間切れで勝負を決めるなど時間も少ない。お互いに視力を尽くした戦いになったな。一方的に攻められるだけのやつがこの勝負を挑むわけがない。その意思戦いは大きく動き出す。予断を許さない状況になったな。ここからが本当の勝負だ。この勝負の結末など読めん。こんな結果で満足するな。先制攻撃としては文句なしといったところだな。いい速攻だったな。筋は悪くないようだ。相手に反撃の隙を与えるな。様子見など不要だ。一人倒れた程度で勝った気になるなよ。この程度の戦いで壊れるとは。多少の破壊くらいでとやかく言うな。真剣に戦っているんだ。派手に暴れたな。無様に吹き飛ばされやがって。この戦いにあの場所は狭すぎた。それだけのことだ。それだけ本気で戦ったと思え。思っていたより見応えはあったな。見ているだけは飽きた。次は俺に戦わせろ。まあ悪くはなかったな。制限時間に頼るとはそんなものは勝利と認めん。逃げの姿勢で勝って何になる。次は相手をぶちのめせ。本当に一撃も食らわずに勝ち上がった。これだけの圧勝なら認めるしかなさそうだな。最初に油断しているからこういうことになるんだ。勝負を最後まで捨てなかったところは休んだらすぐに修行すべきだな。次は圧勝できるように認めてやる。ギリギリ勝てたわけか。まだまだ力不足だな。真剣勝負にもったいつける必要はないからな。こんな形で昔を思い出すとはな。
少しは楽しめそうなやつが出てきたな。気にするな。すぐに何も考えられなくなる。力ずくで従わせるまでだ。
こんなところで何を遊んでいやがる。昔のことなどいちいち覚えていられるか。この程度で満足してやがるんじゃないと。宇宙最強、その先を見よ。
お前とはずっと戦いたいと思っていた。腕ならしに付き合え。実に興味深い。俺から奪いたいものがあるなら数値では測れないお前の強さ。
貴様、なぜそこまでする。貴様の力はそんな程度じゃないだろう。勝ち続けることなどもはや当たり前だ。戦闘民族ならな。
お前もその程度か。力ずくで来い。孫悟空、消えるは貴様だ。囚われの運命から俺が解放してやろう。究極の戦いが楽しめそうだな。俺の力をテストしたいのか。なかなかのエネルギーだ。戦いは俺に任せておけばいいもの。お前という創造主を超え、俺は新たな力を手に入れた。見覚えのあるチビだ。腕を上げたようだな。感じるぞ、強大なエネルギー。決着はまた今度だ。どこかで見たことがあるよ。俺の力を見せてやる。
Now, I know it might be weird, maybe even a little bit sus, but just trust me, okay? Just shove it in your mouth, Catman.
Say what now? I will do no such thing, talking Bugman, but what I will do is encourage you all to subscribe to Unrelent Gaming for the latest Dragon Ball content. And while you're at it, make sure to like the video. Also, don't forget to become a member of Unrelent Gaming's Patreon community for more exclusive content, early access, and much, much more. Do it now, or I'll destroy your planet, along with every taco.
Hey, don't just waste the goddamn thing. Pass it here.
Definitely some dope ass artwork, man. I appreciate how you come back with the translated, colored version. Shout out to the colored version. Because I think I might have forgot to take this one out.
こりゃすぐに終わりそうにねえな。おめえはもう謝っても許さねえか。
Yep. It's the spider animation. He just put this one out. Yes. I guess. I don't know. We still got some time, so hell.
You understand, don't you? Mama, やるじゃないか。少し見直したよ。
親子3人で攻撃とは仲良しですね。なかなかいい動きですよ。貴様を葬るのは
こりゃすぐに終わりそうにねえな。おめえはもう謝っても許さねえかんな。
その痛み決して忘れるな。確かに俺は傲慢だ。決着をつけるおつもりのようです。勝負の流れはすぐに変わるもの。油断すればこの通りです。いいタイミングでトスが入りましたね。
戦ったら腹が減ったな。
いいチームワークですよ。
任せたな。仲間のためにここで引くわけにはいかねえ。
そんな技が俺に通用するわけないだろう。さてと頭に来るぜ。
Uh-oh. Once again, the final flash ain't shit.
勝負はついてねえぞ。ちょっと付き合ってもらおう。オラとやろうぜ。なんとか耐えちゃったぞ。今回はうまくいったみてえだ。
俺は宇宙一だ。
相手になってやる。くそ。
次はもう少し本気を出そうかな。
さすがに相手も想像していなかったでしょう。さあ、お次はドイツだ。
そういうことか。
次は助けんからな。貴様の誤算を教えてやろうか。30点ってところだ。
オラの全力 だからほらここまで来れたんだ。ここで負けるわけにはいかねえ。
避けられるものなら避けてみろ。絶対に許さんぞ。
おめえの思いオラが受け取ったぞ。無意味じゃねえっちゅうことをオラが見せてやる。こっからが本当の勝負だ。
終わりだ。
押し上げといこうか。
これは
相手を頼むぜ。遠慮はしねえぞ。
こいつでとどめだ。
What up, Dale? Hope you have a good day on a Saturday, boy. I done started my day out right. I'll be right back live on the other channel at 10. Central Time for those colored people. See, I like how that spider animation just proved what I said earlier. But for the people that wasn't here earlier, you know, shout out to the replay gang. Y'all get that type of information. How I get out of the playlist? That's just crazy because I already know that I hopped out the playlist without intending to do it. But that happens. It happens. Yeah. Anyways, we'll go right back into it because, you know, we got our outro by the big homie. Shout out to @DJ You know what I'm saying? You know, check out the beats. Go check out the beats. Let me make sure that was it. Yeah, Gwen, that video, and of course the outro. Not the intro, the outro, because it's time to get go. I still got to post this video on Rumble.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light.
See if them dabs hitting for right.
Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden, by the door, in the bedroom, on the floor. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the middle of the night, I'm gonna be there till the morning light. Remember me when you're far away. I'll always have a place for you to stay. In the garden.